Hello everyone, today will be a bit of a different video. I usually talk about physics topics and things that have direct applications in physics, but topology is a bit of an outlier here. Its applications are pretty small, but it's still a subject that can be interesting to learn, so I'll be going over what a topology is. So what is a topology? Well, a topology on a set X is defined as, well, yeah, sorry. I think we can read that a bit better. Okay, so a set T is a topology on set X if these rules are obeyed. X must be in T. The null set must be in T. The arbitrary union of members of T must also be in T. And the finite intersection of elements of T are also in T. These rules are the definition of a set T being a topology on a set X. And this may seem really arbitrary and really abstract and weird. And it kind of is. But let's just walk us through it, I guess. So what I'm saying here is that if you have some set, well, first of all, what is it? What is a set? A set in mathematics is the same meaning as the colloquial set in English. A set is just a group of objects. So a set one set is a topology on another set if that set obeys the following rules. So set T is a topology on set X if X is in T, so the entire set of X is in T. The null set, which is the set that contains nothing, is also in T. And then the arbitrary union of elements in T is in T. What does that mean? Well, if T has elements, say A, B, C, these are all elements of set T. These are a group of objects that are in set T. The arbitrary union just means A and B. It's A plus B kind of. If you have the set of ducks and the set of frogs, the union of the set of ducks and the set of frogs would just be the set of ducks and frogs. That's what it means. So the arbitrary union of any two elements of T is also in T, which implies that the union of actually it's the union of any two, the union of two members of T are in T, which implies that the arbitrary union of any members of T is also in T. And of course our final rule is that the finite intersection of elements of T is in T. So what does this mean? Well, let's say that you have the set of all fat frogs. I didn't think that was on the spot. And skinny frogs. Okay. And then we have the set of all fat animals. The intersection of the set of all fat frogs and the set of all fat animals would be the set of all fat frogs, because that's what they have in common. So the intersections of sets A and B are just the elements of A and B that are shared, that are in common, basically. So if you have a set of all fat frogs and skinny frogs, and the set of all fat animals, well, then the set of all fat frogs would be the intersection of those two sets, right? Okay, so those four rules are like pretty much define what it means if T is a topology on X. But mathematicians say that T is like some set is a topology on some other set. They just mean that these four rules are obeyed. They define a topology on X. So let's try to apply this and like identify topologies in like mathematics and in real life. So here's an example. T is defined as a set of T is defined as the null set set X, element gamma and element A. And set X is defined as containing A, B, C, and gamma. Now, is T a topology on X? I should say X. Well, let's find out. For it to be a topology, for it to be a topology, X must be in T. The null sets must be in T. The arbitrary union of elements in T should also be in T. A finite intersection of elements in T must also be in T. Are these rules obeyed? Just ignore this part for now. So are these rules obeyed? Well, let's ask Siri. Okay, so are these rules obeyed? Well, let's see. So is X in T? Well, here it is, which means that T contains A, B, C, and gamma as well. So X is in T. Is it also in T? Well, I don't know. Is it also in T? Let's put on our glasses. This is the part where like I ask you guys. You like say, yeah, I find it. Never mind. So here's the null set over here, right? So null set is in T. And is the arbitrary union of elements in T also in T? Well, let's find out. Well, let's just try, right? So is the union of A, B, and T gamma in T? Well, yeah, since like that's in X and X is in T, right? Well, it is a union of the null sets and C in T. Well, the union of the null set and C is the null set by definition. The null set is in T, so that union is also in T. Well, let's try. Well, it was a union of gamma out A and B in T. Well, let's find out. Well, the union of gamma A and B is just gamma A and B. B is in X, which is in T, and gamma A is in T. So the union of those is in T. So you can try this yourself. Technically, you have to do like all the combinations, all the permutations, but the union of any element, you try this yourself. Union of any element of T is also going to be in T. Well, what about the finite intersection? Finite is important here. But I think here, like the arbitrary intersections also apply. But is the finite intersection of any element of T also in T? Well, let's define an intersection of A and X. Well, that's just A, since A was what is in common. And A is in X, and X is in T, therefore, finite intersection of A is in T. You can probably see where this is going. The finite intersection of element will also be in T. So that rule is obeyed. Now is the that's obeyed, which means that T is a topology of X. Yeah, T is a topology on X. Here is a physical real example. Now it's kind of real with an asterisk next to it and like quotation marks, because like you're not gonna actually do this in the real world. You're just implying some concepts in the real world, but you're not actually doing anything meaningful though. So let A be a set of all the animals in our big wide world. And A, so A is the set of all animals in our world and the sets of all birds that survive in space. Okay? And let B be the set of all aquatic frogs. Ooh, spooky. Is B a topology of A? Actually, this should read, it should really read. Is A topology of B? And I want you guys to try this yourself. It's gonna take some thinking, but it's not really that hard. Pause the video. Pause the feature now. So is A topology of B? Well, let's find out. So to tackle these problems, it's probably best to make your own variable. So let's just define the set of all animals itself. Let's define that as set Q, okay? And probably should not go through the problem, but let's define the set of all animals as as Q. And let's define a set of all birds in space as a rocket ship. That would be pretty funny, right? Let's use a symbol rocket ship for the set of all birds that survive in space. And B is the set of all aquatic frogs, right? So A is just the union of Q and rocket ship sets, right? And B is just B, right? And we have B. So is A topology of B? Well, we have to write down our golden rules, the 4 commandments of topology. X has to be in T, or in this case, A. X has to be in T. So in this case, B, the set of all aquatic frogs, must be in A, the set of all animals, and the set of all birds that fly in space. 2, any member of A, the union of members of A, must also be in A. So A is the set of all animals and birds that fly in space, which means that if you take any element of if you take some animal and another animal, those must also be in set A. 3, the finite intersection of elements of A must also be in A, and the null sets must be in A. Let's see if these apply. So first of all, let's B in A. Well, A is the set of all animals and the set of all birds that survive in space. B is the set of all aquatic frogs. Now, the set of all aquatic frogs is in A, since the set of all aquatic frogs are animals, right? Frogs are all aquatic frogs, even all frogs in general are animals. So all members of B are going to be in A, since all aquatic frogs are animals. So that's checked. Is the union of any 2 elements of A going to be in A? Well, let's find out. If you take any, say if you take a giraffe, right? And you take a penguin. Is the union of these as a giraffe and penguin? Are those in set A? Well, yeah, they're in set A since they're both animals. If we take a giraffe and we take a bird that survives in space, is that in set A? Well, yeah, because now we have an animal and a bird that survives in space. If you take a giraffe and an aquatic frog, you see the point. The arbitrary union of any 2 elements in A will also be in A. Now, what about the finite intersection of elements in A? Is that also in A? Well, if you take a giraffe and a frog and a goose, I'm saying this. If you take a giraffe and a frog and a goose, and a penguin the intersection of those guys, like what's in common, is the intersections of those elements are, well, what they have in common is that they are animals. So sorry, I'm really tired right now. But yeah, the intersection of any two elements of A is going to be in A, because say we have if we intersect a set of all aquatic frogs, and A, we're just going to set of all aquatic frogs. Now 4 is the null set in A. Well, yes, because A is set of all animals, and the set of all birds that survive in space. There is no bird that survives in space. So that set is empty. That's the null set, right? That's the null set. That contains the null set. I'm going back to my stumble earlier. I was like thinking, wait, is this like, if you have like a penguin and a frog, what's in common with them? Well, they're both animals, so the intersection of them would be themselves. So yeah, the set of all animals and birds that can fly in space or survive in space is a topology of on B, the set of all aquatic frogs. Yeah, that's some silly example of topology and a mathematical example of topology. Well, it's not really both mathematical, but yeah, that's the whole gist of topology. That's the working definition. I might make more topology videos in the future about like neighborhoods, like bundles maybe, pointless topology. Well, all topology is pointless if you ask me, but you might make more videos in the future if people recommend it. If the two people watching are gonna recommend it, then yeah, I may make a new topology video. But I'm mostly focused on physics. So yeah, have a great day. Hope this beats